What's up, everybody? This is Straight Parker. Now, I know this video was late because I was busy yesterday on Friday. So, we're here with another Spooky Friday video. Well, it's more like Spooky Saturday. But anyway, we have a video called A Creepy Dark Web Story 2. We didn't see the first one. But anyway, this is by Llama Arts. Llama Arts, please.
In all my years of being a police officer in Floyd County, Georgia, I had only experienced...
Wait. Let's watch this. Please do not copyright me on one. Please do not. Alright?
I was 26 years old, and I was unemployed. Feeling unfulfilled by the monotony of a job life, I decided I would try my hand at working from home. So my days and nights comprised me of surfing the internet for any jobs I could get. I was a big procrastinator, so more often than not I'd stray away and waste time doing other things. One day, I came across talk about the deep web while on Reddit. I felt amused by the people talking about it as if it was something so scary, and decided I'd look into it. It was stupid of me to go on it in the first place, but I made it even sillier by deciding to check it out late at night. It was about 2 a.m. and I came across a website where you could chat with someone anonymously. The person I got was a woman. She was in her early 20s and very pretty. She sat with her head in her hands, looking playful into the webcam while batting her eyes. I had no desire to turn my camera on and started our chat, thinking that while I didn't come across anything scary, I could befriend this pretty girl. It sounded like a better deal anyway. She told me to turn the camera on, but I ignored that request and tried to get her to talk. She finally did after some prodding, but I noticed how guarded she was. I also noticed how after every message I sent, her eyes would look off camera, either to her side or somewhere behind her computer. After a while, it started getting annoying, so I asked her if someone else was there with her.
I want to see you first.
She said. Up until now, I've been chatting while she'd answered my questions verbally. I'm not that curious,
Don't be scared.
she said, laughing, this time looking behind the laptop again, making a face that seemed to indicate she was laughing at my expense, with someone else. This is getting boring. It feels like I'm not just talking to you.
That's because you're talking to all of us.
Who else is there?
Turn your camera on.
Is this a joke?
Turn it on.
Okay, I'll be leaving now.
Turn on the camera.
Her laughter was almost piercing by now. There was nothing humorous about the situation, yet she threw her head back with riotous laughter. I'd had enough and moved the cursor over to turn the chat box off when I saw the cursor had jammed. The only thing that was working was the chat box, and I still had access to the keyboard.
Turn the camera on, sweetie.
Her gumdrop-filled voice was louder than before, and I moved my gaze up to see her smiling tunefully at the camera. Her face still beautiful, but the smile completely fake. My computer's crashed. I can't see the screen. Sorry. I lied. I didn't want her to know I had no option but to chat. Her screen flashed before going blank. There was nothing there but a black screen. I felt relieved, thinking that at least I didn't need to talk to her while I tried to figure out what happened to the screen. Just then, a chat message.
Uh-oh. Crypt TV? Oh boy, got a commercial, Crypt TV.
Message popped up.
Open the damn camera.
The aggressiveness in the message frightened me.
Wow.
Now, the fact that I couldn't see her face while she typed this made me feel nervous. I didn't dare reply back, but then the cursor moved. I watched shell-shocked as the cursor twirled around the screen.
Open the camera now.
I still didn't make a move. There was no way anything good would be waiting for me if I did what she asked. The screen began flickering, and as if a virus was causing the computer to writhe in agony.
You want me to find an interview?
My heart raced. Could it be possible she knew where I was? I started typing. Please stop bothering me.
Then turn on the fucking camera.
By this point, I thought she was some kind of sadist who got her kicks by scaring unassuming people in chat rooms. So I obliged and turned the webcam on. I saw my frightened face staring into the screen. Judging by my face, my attempts at looking tough were painfully unsuccessful. I asked around for the girl looking straight into the camera, telling her I did what she wanted and to stop hacking into my computer. There were several seconds of silence. I kept my stare directed to the little box that showed her camera feed. It was pitch black.
Wow.
I motioned into the camera in confusion, feeling as if she was messing with me now. Then I saw another message.
Look here.
After a few seconds of staring at those words, I looked back at her camera, but my computer instantly malfunctioned. I received another message.
Look here. Stop it.
The chat was filled with nonsensical gibberish. She typed with such ferocious speed, my screen whirled away with her constant messages.
Bro, she hacked your
Understand what
stuff,
was going
bro.
on, but I didn't look up. My patience ran thin, and I wrote back, "What is this supposed to mean?" No response came. I read only the letters in bold and shuddered. I looked back into her webcam, and I fell back into my chair, my eyes widening. She was back there, only her face looked completely demented. She had a savage expression, devoid of emotion, but her eyes were almost popping out of their sockets, and she was huffing as if she had extreme amounts of pent-up rage. The way she looked directly into the camera made me feel she despised me with all of her being. There was
Whoa.
no amusement there
Whoa,
anymore.
dude.
Her camera went blank again. Then the chat popped up.
Oh, snaps.
My heart
What's
stopped
up?
again. For a split second, there had been the same blackness, only for the lights to come back on. She wasn't alone anymore. There was a man next to her with a black mask on. He made no movements other than look into the camera like the girl. The girl's neck creaked to her side. It looked like it was causing her pain. And the lights went out again. The chat resumed. This time, I screamed in fright and fell off my chair. There was another man with them now. He was standing next to the girl with the original one on the other side. This man had the same mask on, but his hands were grasping the girl's shoulders. Even with the subpar quality of the webcam, I could see the force with which the man dug his hands into the girl. It looked like he could rip her in two. The girl, however, had a huge grin on her face. Her eyes were mad with glee, or so it looked. Her teeth were perfectly lined up as her mouth spread into that toothy grin, but I could see she was in pain. Even with the smallest sign of her smile fading, the man clenched his hands even tighter than before, which made her smile even wider. All three of them were shaking, as if it was extremely cold where they were. After a couple seconds, I realized they were shuddering, like trying to hold back laughter.
What are you laughing at?
I yelled into the screen. They didn't answer, and continued to tremor with concealed hilarity.
What is so damn funny?
I bellowed. They stopped shaking. Within a couple seconds, the screen went black again. When it turned back on, the man no longer grasped the girl's shoulder, neither was she smiling. All three pointed into the camera. Upon a closer look, I understood that they weren't pointing at me.
Oh, heck no! Heck no! There's somebody in his room!
To look back, I could see myself in the webcam. There was someone peeking from behind me. It was another man in a mask, and according to what I saw on my webcam, he was with me in my room, right behind me. I turned around quickly and saw nothing where I had seen him in the webcam. I turned back towards the screen and, to my bewilderment, saw a third man in the girl's chat box. It was the same man I had just seen standing in my room. Now, All three had their hands on the girl and were gripping tight. The girl wasn't laughing anymore. She had a look of utter devastation. A tear was dropping from her eye. But it wasn't just a tear. It was blood trickling down her eye socket. She then mouthed the words, "Help me." And the next second she screamed as if her lungs were being ripped off as the screen went black. I immediately got up and pulled the plug out of my computer and backed out of the room. For a couple seconds, I swear I heard her screams, even though the computer was unplugged. The room went quiet, but I was too devastated to stay there and ran out of my house despite it being 3 a.m. I caught a cab and went over to my friends, who had to talk me down for an hour before I could be calmed. I returned back to my house with my friend a day later. Everything was the same. And after thoroughly checking around the house, we concluded that there was no one there, nor was there a sign of anyone ever having broken in.
Cookies.
I've never gone back to the deep web. My friend suggested it might have been some prank by computer hackers, but the way that girl shrieked, the terror she had on her face, it convinced me she had been a victim herself. I'd wondered if I had stayed on for longer, if I would have become a victim too. Could those men have found me? Was there really someone in the room with me? There was nothing I could do, because there was nothing concrete to report to the police. What I did do was throw the computer out and buy a new one.
Yep.
There was no way I could even open it back up after what happened.
You might have to change your Wi-Fi service too, man.
What you doing? Where your man? I just pumped her saying 50,000 in Japan. I ain't do no plan. These red bottoms on no vans. And she telling all her friends, baby girl.
Alright, guys. We have someone in the comment section, actually two people. One, my mom, and someone else saying they told me about do a video over Exorcist or something like that. So this is something similar to that. It's called the Curse of La Llorona teaser trailer 2019. I don't know if you guys can hear me properly, but yeah, it's kind of like The Exorcist, I guess. Let's check it out.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know anything about La Llorona?
The Weeping Woman.
It's a folk tale.
No, it's not a folk tale.
To some.
To most, it's not.
Stay in the car, okay? And please don't wake up your sister.
It's your fault! I tried to stop her! Who did you try to stop? A Llorona.
But where your sister at? Oh, okay. Boy, he should have never opened that door. Oh my gosh. April 19th of this year. Alright, the actual story? Alright, let's check this out. The actual story is on the bottom left.
About 500 years ago, La Llorona, Christian Maria, was an extremely beautiful woman who belonged to a poor family. Her startling beauty captured the attention of both the rich and the poor men of the area. She was said to have spent her days in her humble surroundings, but in the evenings she would don her best white gown and thrill the men who admired her in the local fandangos. It is said that one day, while Maria was walking through the village, a rich nobleman saw her and immediately fell in love with her. In no time, the rich noble proposed to Maria, to which she gladly agreed. Once married, the couple built a home near Maria's village, and soon after, as time passed, she gave birth to two sons. At first, Maria was happily married and cared for her sons and her husband deeply, and in return, the husband would shower her with gifts. However, as time passed, her husband became distant and would not even come home at times. He took to a life of womanizing and alcohol, often
Oh
leaving
my
her for
gosh.
months at a time. He seemingly no longer cared for the beautiful Maria, even talking about leaving her to marry a woman of his own stature. Then one day, Maria's husband left home for work and never came back. A couple years passed and Maria made a life for herself and her young sons. One evening, as Maria was strolling with her two children on a shady pathway near the river, a carriage carrying a couple came into view, and once it came near the family, it suddenly stopped. Inside was Maria's husband with a young, beautiful woman sitting at his side. He stopped and spoke to his children but ignored Maria, and then drove the carriage down the road without looking back. Blinded by anger, Maria took her sons and threw them into the river, where they both drowned. As soon as she regained her senses, Maria desperately dove in after the lifeless body of her children and almost drowned trying to pull them out of the river.
See,
Maria,
see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, she let her emotions get the better of her instead of actually thinking rationally. See, I don't even know what else to say about that.
in their deaths day and night. During this time, she would not eat and walked along the river in a white gown, searching for her boys, hoping they would come back to her. She cried endlessly as she roamed the river banks, and her gown became soiled and torn. When she continued to refuse to eat, she grew thinner and appeared taller until she looked like a walking skeleton. Still a young woman, she finally died on the banks of the river. Not long after her death, her restless spirit began to appear, walking the banks of the Santa Fe River when darkness fell. Her weeping and wailing became a curse of the night, and people were afraid to go out after dark. She was said to have been seen drifting between the trees along the shoreline or floating on the current with a long white gown spread out upon the waters. On many a dark night, people would see her walking along the riverbank and crying for her children. So they no longer spoke of her as Maria, but rather La Llorona, the weeping woman. Children are warned not to go out in the dark, for La Llorona might snatch them, throwing them to their deaths in the flowing waters. It is said that at the gates of heaven, La Llorona was challenged over the whereabouts of her children and was not permitted to enter the afterlife until she found them, thus forcing her to wander the earth for all
Oh,
eternity.
dude, that is scary, bro. I mean, her children are walking around somewhere. She has to go find them. So that's her punishment. That is her punishment. I don't understand why God would do that, but then again, at the same time, I kind of do. That is her punishment. That's one way to punish one of you. She was a Christian. She was a Christian, and that's one way to punish her. So she has to find her children, and she hasn't even found them yet. I'm pretty sure the children were probably walking somewhere around the house or something like that. You know, or their souls could have been drifted down the riverbank. Who knows? I don't even know. But that's sad. She would have found her children by now. But you know what? You know what they should do? They should make a movie about that. And then, like, by her failing to find them, she actually turned back. So, I don't know.
Searching in vain for her drowned offsprings. She constantly weeps, hence her name is La Llorona, which literally translates into the weeping woman. She is caught between the living world and the spirit world. La Llorona kidnaps wandering children who resemble her missing children, asks them for forgiveness, then kills them to take the place of her own. People who claim to have seen her say that she appears at night or in the late evening by the rivers or lakes. Some believe that those who hear the wails of La Llorona are marked for death, but those who escape in time are not. The Hispanic people believe that the weeping woman will always be with them, following the many rivers looking for her children. For this reason, many of them fear the dark and pass the legend from generation to generation. The Llorona story has lost some of its fear factor. Instead, it has become more of a warning to young children to stop them from wandering too close to deep water, especially in the dark. But it is La Llorona whose tale has gripped generation after generation of Mexican children. They are warned that if they misbehave, La Llorona will snatch them, or that going out after dark will make her appear. Even today, many adults who grew up with the story say that they believe in La Llorona. But what do
Sure,
you
I would
believe?
believe it
Let me
too.
know in the comment section down below.
I would definitely believe it. Cause my thing is, you don't play when it comes to afterlife. Because, like, some people say that I don't believe in ghosts. Okay, that's kind of dumb to say because once you die, I've seen people that die and they tell me what's on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I know what's on the other side too from experience. You know, it's like you stand over your body. Like it's like okay, it's like this. You're caught in between life and death, right? You're in between the spirit world and the freaking living. Um, it's hard to explain. It's like as the doctors are trying to bring you back to life, you know, you're sitting there watching everything happen. You're watching everything that's taking place. You're standing over your body while they're performing CPR, all this stuff over your body, and it's like you see other people that are dead too that's walking around. You know how many people? Look, you know how many people there are that died in the hospital? Some of them don't leave. Some of them don't leave. They're still in that hospital. Or they manage to latch themselves on to their family. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, people say they don't believe in ghosts. That they're idiots, in my opinion. They're idiots. Just like they said that they don't believe in aliens. But yet we're the only ones in our solar system. But my dad, including the news media, including the military, has admitted not too long ago, a couple months ago, that there has been unidentified aircraft that have come into our solar system and sit in one spot. They monitor them, and then they can't really track them because they disappear with such a speed of a light that it's untraceable. So, come on. Even other countries, they finally admit to it. So, and on top of that, they found like NASA have found other Earths, other planets that were bigger, that looks just like Earth, but bigger, with life forms on it. Except for one planet, it's no life form at all besides plants. So they have not tried to. They showed a machine out there. It was a machine that pretty much, you know, found it all. But the thing is, what y'all need to understand is like, y'all are so quick to disbelieve something when there's proof. I saw when I was younger, and the other people would see it too. They have seen it. Everybody seen it. We even talked about it in my classroom. And my teacher saw it growing up. There have been times where we see something in the freaking air. It's moving, then it stops for a long period of time, sitting in one spot, and then fuse in a beam of light, green light, it disappears. So y'all tell me that they don't exist, and y'all say that ghosts don't exist? What the heck is your soul? Your soul is like, is you. Is you. Like, once you die, your soul leaves your body. You're standing, that's what it is. A ghost. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, people don't believe things they can't see. Because not everybody has the ability to see the dead. You know what I'm saying? And it's for a reason, because if everybody had that ability, you know what people be, there wouldn't be no balance. The people that are able to see them, they get treated as freaks, but really it's a gift, you know? But anyway, yeah. That's Spooky Friday on a Saturday.